Hello, and welcome to today's LOL Esports video where we're going to go over the biggest disappointments of 2022. I'm pulling an audible. There weren't as many major region players. They were being downgraded to minor regions thus far for me to warrant doing a video on it. So this I'd been saving for a second. So what were the biggest disappointments of 2022 in your eyes? Teams, players, comment down below. Keep in mind it isn't only Worlds, but I know Worlds is a big part of it. I think that, the tournament itself and what transpired in it, takes away a lot of disappointing teams that didn't even make it, right? So we're going to go over them. There are quite a few, which makes it kind of weird. Biggest disappointments. There are 108 teams across all major and minor regions that are world represented. Going into this past year. So there are quite a few teams. And to put only 5 disappointments, there are a lot of disappointments this year. So to start us off, we will look at a couple LPL teams that really disappointed me. LNG. And BLG. To a lesser degree. So, I thought LNG was really going to get the job done this year. They did not. Tarzan and Doumbé I had in my top 5 of each role going into summer. I do believe that they're very, very good. Those two players are extremely talented, but they couldn't get the job done. Ale in top lane, that Panda C crap that was occurring, not good. Bot lane, going back and forth between Iwandi and Lamau was not a good look. Light did what he had to do. He was probably their most consistent player all split long. It was really, really disappointing that LNG could not get the job done in the end. They had a little run in summer regional finals, not summer regional, but summer playoffs, and couldn't get it done. BLG. Uzi, right? Uzi didn't end up working out. Bin didn't end up really working out for them in top lane. They tried to get multiple different mid laners. That didn't work. Jungle swapping didn't work. Bot lane swapping didn't work. Like, BLG were a tire fire of a bunch of crap. Like, it was all over the place. Definitely a very disappointing result. I would say to a lesser degree, OMG and FPX probably fall under here as well. I was high on OMG going into the season, and they just didn't show up. Very mediocre at best in summer. FPX, similarly, a bright future in my opinion if they keep the players that they had, but the LPL free agency is still up in the air, so we don't know what's going to happen with their core of young players, Jalahu and Care, but, nevertheless, bit disappointing. LCK, really, Gen G disappointed at Worlds. But across the entire year, I wouldn't say that they did. They played a very good season. In the end, they played a very good season. T1 played a very good season. Damwon Kia did as well. DRX just was a big surprise. So that's, I guess, a spoiler. Is that really a spoiler for biggest surprises? KT disappointed me. So I really thought KT could get the job. Honestly, and I keep saying this, I could have seen a world where KT goes on a run like DRX did, with Rascal being the carry instead of Zeka. Obviously, a lot older player. A much older player, but I thought KT was really good. I thought they were better than DRX by quite a bit in summer. Aiming and life and bot lane were really good. Vikla was a good rookie in mid lane. Would have been nice to see how he did at Worlds as a rookie. Maybe he has a glow up. I thought that team really looked really talented. And it's too bad that they couldn't get the job done. Otherwise, the LCK really was pretty standard. T1 didn't disappoint me, finishing second both times. Gen G were competitive until the end. Free agency a little disappointing thus far for them, but that's not relevant. That's kind of it. LCK was pretty standard. I was not high on teams that did poorly. Outside of Keen with Kwangdong Freaks. I thought Keen could do more. He didn't. So I guess Keen is the disappointment there. LEC, we'll go with Vitality. We're all disappointed with how Vitality turned out, right? Um, Vitality, obviously all of EU struggled at international events outside of Rogue, kind of, having a surprise run there. Actually, I'm going to put this over here. I don't think I need that color anymore. So, Perks and Carzy, bot lane was a joke. So, Carzy didn't really hold up his end of the bargain. Perks tried his damnedest, but they couldn't even get in the playoffs in summer. Like, they were not even close to getting to Worlds. Like, that's the thing I think people don't understand. Vitality was not even close. It wasn't like, no, they stunk. Alfari, like, couldn't do it in top lane. Haru, people blame Haru in the jungle, but there are bigger issues with that roster than just Haru. I think people look at Bo and they're like, oh my God, it's all Haru's fault. Like, no, I think there are bigger issues with Vitality than just Haru. So, disappointing. Very disappointing. Another disappointment I would have to say is TL. None of us are surprised that TL struggled. None of us are surprised that TL struggled. None of us are surprised that TL's on this list, right? That super roster they paid a ton of money for didn't get the job done. Bwipo in top lane. They've Bjerg in mid lane. The bot lane with Core JJ and Han Sama, like, it just didn't do it for us, right? Didn't end up getting it done. Too much pressure. I think Han Sama kind of crumbled under it a bit. And you had different ideas. You had three players, Bwipo, Bjergsen, and Core JJ, that all looked at the game a little differently and couldn't decide on what to do. And Bjerg and Core, you have two. Bwipo's very, very good player, but Bjerg and Core have been around the block, right? They are definitely stuck in their ways, and if it is not similar, if they don't view the game similarly, there will be a problem, because it's kind of like these guys play the game one way, and they're probably not going to play differently. And Core's won Worlds before, so in the end, he's like, I've won before. This is how we won. Would I recommend playing that way? Probably not, but it is what it is. Enchanter meta is where he was good, right? So this past year probably would have been a good idea to play that way, I guess. So TL, not getting the job done. Pretty sad. I would say specifically EG against G2. EG with an asterisk. Struggling against G2 the way they did all year long. MSI, international play, like the inability to have growth against specifically G2. It's like, come on. You can't lose to a team eight times in a row. Like, and I understand, like, oh, well, they did win. It's like, we shouldn't even be in this position. Adapt, figure it out. So them not figuring it out, very disappointing. But that was just a minor little blip there. Now, let me think. I had some minor region stuff I want to put up here. We're going to put the LCO, more specifically Chief. Due to Chief not playing very well, at Worlds, Order obviously going winless as well, they lost their right to be a region. They now have to go, the top two teams join the PCS playoffs and have to go through them, which is probably for the best, given that the LCO could not get a win this past year at an international event. It is just a complete shocker that they could not do that. I don't really know what else to say, really. Chief ran the table in summer. My top-ranked minor region team, like, they were just so dominant, and they're dominant on the island. No one else was there that could compete with them. That just shows how bad Oceania is at this moment. Obviously, the LCS has snagged any of their good players, I guess, because this is the result. Just an absolute disaster. Japan, there wasn't disappointment. Brazil, there wasn't. Vietnam, there wasn't. PCS, not really. I mean, PSG, Didn't really watch them enough to really be too disappointed. Turkey kind of is what it is. Latin America is what it is. I don't know if there's any more disappointments. What are we thinking of here? Kind of just stark, like probably missing one or two that people are going to say, oh, wow, why don't you have this team on there? Honestly, they're not coming to mind right now. These are like the ones that really kind of stick out to me as like, wow, these are disappointment. Like, and EG did very well going to Worlds and MSI. That's why there's an asterisk. Specifically against G2 is what I have questioning EG about. I'm like, could you really not adapt over that entire period of time to figure it out? But I really don't. I mean, like I said, there are a couple LPL teams that didn't write down, like FPX and OMG, but I mean, pretty standard. Gen G at Worlds. You know, JDG playing T1 tough. Didn't get it done. Well, no, they didn't. They got 3-1, didn't they? Well, JDG, I guess, got ran over a bit. But COVID, I guess COVID, biggest disappointment, COVID ruining the LPL trip to Worlds. Like, for some reason, coincidentally, all the LPL teams had to deal with COVID to some degree. RNG very bad to lesser degrees for the others. But it still happened where all the other teams didn't have to deal with that. Why did that happen? Well, you know, remains to be, you know, can only speculate. So outside of that, really, though, I don't have much. So comment down below with your biggest disappointments from 2022, players, you know, teams. It doesn't always have to be Worlds related. It can just be in general, like didn't get the job done, even domestically, you know. So thank you for watching. Like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. I do daily polls there where I, you know, post a poll related to this video. I just started doing it the last couple days, and I'm going to continue to do it. Somebody had suggested for me to do that on a Twitch stream, so I'm doing that. Not Twitch stream, YouTube stream. I may stream a couple times this week. Depends on when I got some free time, so be on the lookout for that, and thank you for watching.